Happy Easter. Our scripture today is the resurrection account from Mark's Gospel, from Mark chapter 16, verses 1 through 8. This is the passage we'll be sharing in our worship services that I'll be preaching on as well today. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. They had been saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance to the tomb?" When they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had already been rolled back. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man, dressed in a white robe, sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has been raised. He is not here. Look, there is the place they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." So they went out and fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement had seized them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. What a remarkable experience these women had that first Easter morning. And we all can imagine how alarmed we would be if we went to see our loved one's grave and found that they weren't there and the grave had been disturbed, if you will, and to be greeted by a divine messenger robed in white saying, "Our loved one wasn't dead but was risen." What an incredible experience they had. But let's also look at their response. You notice that the angel tells them to go to Galilee and to tell the disciples and Peter specifically. And Peter, we believe, is singled out both because he was the leader among the disciples and because he had been the one who had denied Jesus 3 times. And this is a way of assuring Peter that Jesus still loves him and still wants him in that role. But look at what the women do in verse 8. It says they went out and fled from the tomb because terror and amazement had seized them, and they said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. Now we know these women got over their fear because we know the whole gospel story. And so I think we can take some encouragement from that. You may at times be afraid to tell others about your faith in Jesus, or your being a part of a church, or the difference that your faith or your spiritual life makes for you. But it's important to ask God to help us get over that fear, because one of the purposes of our life that God has given us is to bear witness to what God has done for us and in us and through us, thanks to God's Son Jesus and to God's Spirit. Happy Easter, and may the hope and the power of the resurrection bless you this day and always.